Hello everybody, this is Chaos with NoDiceGaming and Chaos Esports Productions bringing you today's clan war. We have NoDiceGaming going up against Miraculous Gaming. And the first match is going to be here on Yonsu Ladder Edition. Let's go ahead and introduce our players spawning in the lower left-hand corner for Miraculous Gaming. It is going to be ThomasSauve.
Oh yes, very, very nice. And in the top right for NoDiceGaming, we will have their Zerg player, Crowbar.
Oh boy. PvZ. Should be a good one. I particularly like PvZ on this map. Lots of interesting things that I have seen. Yes, indeed.
Are you going to elaborate on those things there, Chaos?
Lots of blink. You know, it was funny. I saw a replay yesterday with some. I don't even remember who it was playing, but Swarm Host drops. Very epic.
Oh yeah, that was one of the NoDiceGaming guys, I believe. I think, was that end of... No, I forget who it was as well, but yes, Swarm Host drops are now a thing, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Run around the metagame.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how this ends up. Now, let's see. Music, for some odd reason, isn't enabled. I'm not sure why.
Oh boy.
Like, I can hear all those.
You go ahead and... I was like,
this...
if you want to go ahead and take care of it, I
mean,
can handle...
it says that it's enabled, but I don't know. Just no music. We just get the nice little sound effects of the Chrono Boost going at it, and yeah. So, expectations. What are you prepared to see?
Well, I really do like this probe doing a little dance. ThomasSauve, giving Crowbar a little what for, but that was pretty much right on time for Crowbar. Players now are sending down drones pretty early to start harassing to take care of that. But both players opening up, I would say, about as basic as you could expect.
Yeah, so we had a Nexus First coming out from Mr. Sauve, as I will probably refer to him as that for the rest of the game, because, you know, Suave is just a cool word, and
Suave.
You just gotta give yourself the opportunity to say that more times than you probably should. But anyways, so pretty interesting opening from him. Going to be going for Nexus First and straight into his Forge. Playing pretty standard, and then Crowbar obviously went for the relatively early pool, so he's definitely playing a little bit more on the safer side.
Yeah, no gas or anything quite yet, so he's just going to be hanging out. No big speed push or anything. Expect probably a third to be going down, and there is a drone headed over there as we speak.
Yeah, so taking his really fast third base, definitely going to be playing a lot more economical. Usually we'll just see him drone up for the first, another 2 more minutes here. Get those bases as saturated as he possibly can, and then he'll probably start to think about throwing down his gases and getting his tech up, so...
Absolutely nothing out of the ordinary. Key thing to look for is just in that production tab is to look for +1 to see if that goes down. Can be rather indicative of, pressure, things like that. But for the most part right now, we're just going to kind of hang out a little bit, and there's not going to be a whole lot going on.
Yeah, so I find it really interesting. He did scout the third, so he knows it's out there, but... my reaction to that tends to be, okay, I'm going to go for some really interesting early aggression, throw down that +1, and then focus all attention to that third base, try and take it out as much as possible, and then basically follow up with that with a mortal push to, kind of seal the deal, but we're not really seeing much reaction out of Suave.
Yeah, not a whole lot going down there. And now Zerg looks like 2 geysers will be taken. I like those being taken at the natural. Just maybe a little trickery with the opponent if they don't get anything into your main. But it looks like now he is adding on a third. So, yeah, pretty typical stuff as you would expect. Protoss player right now still hasn't added on anything at the natural, but those should be coming up here in not too long.
So what are your expectations out of our Zerg player? Obviously, he's going to be going for his lair relatively soon, probably in the next minute or so. What kind of composition do you think is more favorable on this map?
I like the really wide ramp things. They're nice for things if you get massive units. Recently, I've seen some Zerg players going Lings, and I would love to say that there is more than that, but it's pretty much just Lings going into like Ultralisks and things later. I love when players can actually make those types of things work, but they are super larva heavy, etc. And he knows he's against a Robo, so maybe not the best choice if Colossi are going to be in play. But we'll have to see. You can really exploit things like either third base that he takes is somewhat open. There's a little bit of a bottleneck at the third on the right side, but the left one's really wide open. 2 attack angles. Lots of good things can happen there for Zerg players.
Yeah, so we got double Evo Chamber and a Roach Warren being planted down, as well as a very, very late speed. Now, late speed, I don't think I've ever seen it quite this late, quite honestly. So what are your thoughts on that?
It seems like maybe one of those things like, I don't have speed. Should probably get that. Wasn't really a part of his build per se, but one of those upgrades you have to have pretty much if you're ever going to be needing Zerglings. I don't think it's going to be for a planned pressure attack of any sorts, because I think that timing has come and passed, unless he's trying to set something up with a third.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's thinking more long term with that. Obviously, he's getting units-wise. He's got 8 lings out on the field, so speed will definitely be nice for mobility from a mobility standpoint. Ooh, and actually, he sees everything that's going on at the front, all the sentries, including one of those immortals. So he knows something's up.
Yeah, he definitely should. There's no plans for a third base. You see some Zealots. He did see +1 researching. Now, the +1 is pretty late. That might hurt this push just a little bit, as it's about 80 seconds. Ooh, and can he get some run-ins?
Bam!
Yes, he can. That's going to be annoying. But it does not look like ThomasSauve is going to flinch. He's just going to push across.
Yeah, so obviously he's going to deny maybe one of those immortals and obviously a lot of mining time. And actually, he doesn't know what to do. He's like, do I push? Do I not? And it looks like he's just going to go for it. Now, Crowbar really needs to come to realize that there's some, things are going to be pushing very quickly, and these roaches are a little bit out of position. He definitely needs to make sure that he gets those back in time in order to deal with this.
Yes, now he sees the push coming for sure, and I don't know if he quite has enough. 1-1 is about 10 seconds away. That's going to be very key for this push.
Yeah, so he's going to get that's a really, really nice force field. It kind of minimizes the total surface area that Crowbar can actually get on this army. So he's definitely got probably a more favorable position. With a couple Hydras in here, though, Lings are going to try and push in, get a lot of damage done. The Lings are just going to melt very, very rapidly, and looks like Crowbar is still trying to get himself a good enough position.
Yeah, he's kind of key units in this is Hydralisk. Hydralisk are what took Sentry Immortal out of the metagame, so we'll have to see if he can utilize them. Actually killing his own Evo Chamber to allow himself a little bit wider area. I like that move. It's not that expensive, but does he have enough? Great concave here.
Yeah, Crowbar's trying to get himself as much surface area as possible. He's getting a fair amount of damage done, but the Immortals are just absolutely cleaning up. 10 kills coming down on those on that one Immortal that's still alive. And it does look like Sauve is going to have just enough to pull it. Drones are being pulled. A handful of more Lings and Hydras being now coming into the fray. And it looks like we might finally get a cleanup here, but the reinforcing units is just way too much.
Yeah, but he's got these Hydras now, and these Stalkers have no answer. Hydras so good against Stalkers, and they're going to pick off the Warp Prism. That will end this, and now Crowbar is in a great position. Because if you go back to Mr. Sauve's base, he's got, well, not a lot. He's got his Robotech, no third, no other tech to speak of.
Oh boy.
And with gateway units, Ling Hydra is pretty good.
Yeah, and that was a really, really nice hold from Crowbar. Now, he did end up taking out both of his Evo chambers, which I find absolutely hilarious, because it's like you set those up originally to minimize the impact, but the Lings are actually going to get in here now and start to whittle down all of these Stalkers. Some decent force fields, so the Lings will get cleaned up more or less for free at this point. But yeah, like I was saying, the Evo chambers, while they were set up to kind of minimize the amount of pressure that his opponent could put on the natural, it just ended up hurting him in the long run.
Yeah, and now if you're Crowbar in this situation, there's 2 ways you can try to take this game. 1, take a fourth and really push an economic lead. Just keep an eye on your opponent, make sure he's not going all in, and try to force him to take a third base, then try to attack the third. or it seemed like there maybe he was trying to end it, but I think that might have been a mistake, so probably actually a good thing that it got a little bit shut down without losing any key units. It looks like he knows that there is no thirds coming down with these overlords, so he basically has to think to himself, all right, what do I have to do to win it, because there is going to be an all-in push coming. And so I think he's doing the right thing and just getting up a lot of units, and I don't think he really needs to tech too much more, knowing that his opponent can't do anything.
Yeah, and I think the swarm hosts are really the best call that he's got. You know, obviously locusts are free units. Why not take out some costly units for free ones any day? And it does look like we've got. I'm not sure why he pulled up into the main.
Yeah, a key thing, he might just be trying to split up a little bit just in case there's warp prism drops, because he does know that that's a possibility. Now, the really key unit here is going to be actually the Observer. There's just one for Mr. Sauve, and he doesn't have anything else because he's been using all his other robo time for Immortals. If that gets picked off, these swarm hosts become just absolute death units because you cannot stop them, and they get a ton. So if they get set up in good position, and it looks like they are here.
Ooh, Crowbar's getting himself into a really, really nice concave. Going to be able to hit from both sides. Locust getting as much damage done as possible, but it looks like force fields will go down, and the other half of this army is going to get parsected off. Does Crowbar have the position?
It depends. The force field, just a little bit late, but it's good enough. These locusts do so much damage, are just chewing up units right now. And that Observer, so important. Can he pick it off? Is there any detection around?
Yes, there is. The Observer's in the appropriate position, but there is simply just not enough, and Sauve is going to go ahead and tap out, giving NoDiceGaming game number 1 here of this best of 9 all-kill format Clan War. And I will go ahead and switch it over to music and the kind of out of games, and we will get into the next game as quickly as possible. So stay tuned.